As an academy owner, you work hard to build trust with your students, their parents, and your community. But trust isn't something you claim, it's something you prove and earn. That's where Academy Safe comes in. We help academies like yours stand out with verified safety standards. Background checks for all staff, U.S. Center for Safe Sport certification, concussion training, defibrillators on site, CPR, first aid and AED certification, security cameras, rank and lineage checks, and verification of business insurance. Join the trusted martial arts registry that's redefining safety throughout North America. Lead by example. Show parents you're accredited with Academy Safe.
Hello, and welcome to My Empty Hands, a podcast about the martial arts, typically focused on Kempo, but we give love to all the martial arts around here. I am Reggie Darden, and I am very excited to have a special guest on today, Mr. Kenn Scott. He is a martial artist, actor, a writer, all-around awesome person. Probably best known for his role in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. He's also been in other things that we're gonna get into in a little bit here. One that I just actually rewatched yesterday, a movie called Showdown with Billy Blanks. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that, and whatever other rat holes that we can get onto, we'll do that as well. I always start things off by just giving a little bit of my background. I currently train in multiple martial arts, American Kempo, Hapkido, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and Capoeira. I also have some experience in Taekwondo and did a little boxing. So that keeps me pretty busy with life and work and the show and all the other wonderful things that go on. So I stay pretty busy, but I love getting the time to talk to wonderful people such as our guest here. So I'm going to, since we kind of have a little bit of a hard out here, we probably won't get into too much of or spend too much time on Mr. Scott's origin story, but we will get a little bit into that. But the two main things that we wanted to talk about today is, of course, the 90s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, which was actually the my first date that I ever went on was to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, and my date didn't show up, so that was fun, but that's probably a story for another time. And then, so we'll talk about the Turtles movies, and then we also need to talk about this movie Showdown with Billy Blanks. So since I rewatched it yesterday, I have some thoughts about that movie, so we'll get into that. So let's turn it over to our esteemed guest here. Where did the martial arts find you? Where did it all start? And then we'll kind of go from there.
Well, hey Reggie, good to talk to you, man. And I disagree with you. I think that's not a conversation for another day. I think your first date being Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze, seeing that this year, 2026, is the 35th anniversary of that movie. That's the 35th anniversary of that event happening in your life. Did you study martial arts before that happened?
Let's see. I believe that was a little bit before I started. Probably a couple of years before I started.
Okay. So perhaps something happened in your soul at that time that not only did you see the movie by yourself, or did you not even see it?
No. So it was a double date with my best friend and my best friends, and my date was supposed to be one of their friends, and I was all nervous and everything, got all gussied up, and gosh, I guess I was still in middle school, so this probably would have been 7th or 8th grade, somewhere around there. And whatever thing happened, I ended up actually showing up late And it's kind of funny the things that you remember in your mind, because I remember getting into the theater, and it was just right at the end of the very beginning scene with Kino had just finished off his guys, and I walked in right at the end of that, and I
Mm.
remember thinking like, damn it, why did I have to come late? And yeah, I got in there, and come to find out that my friend and her date were there, and my date was not there. So it's like, okay, well, ended up watching the movie and enjoyed it quite thoroughly, of course.
That,
But then instead of going home after the movie, decided to play a third wheel and follow around my two friends while they continued their date, with lonely me following behind like a little lost puppy dog. And yeah, it was not one of my better moments, but
well,
that's
I'm sure
that's
they
life.
love that. However, the point is, you were there, you walked in, you saw the Ninja Turtles. Now, it's true, it's unfortunate you missed a very adrenaline-filled scene at the beginning where Ernie Reyes Jr. kicks ass in the mall against all those guys. But still, you walked in there, you saw this Ninja Turtle thing, something happened, you were the third wheel on the date, and not too long after that, you decided to pursue martial arts. Somewhere that's part of that stew that guided you to this path that you're on now. So I say we celebrate this 35th anniversary by celebrating the seeds of your martial arts journey being planted.
Yes,
Congratulations,
yes,
Red.
yes. Thank you, thank you,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, and you just, yeah, I totally had slipped my mind that yes, it is the anniversary, and I believe you're going to be at a showing here. Where I believe we're both. Well, I'm in Fort Worth. I believe you're in, or you are here frequently. If I understand that correctly.
You do. I live in the shadow realm, but I often pass through Fort Worth.
Very nice, very nice. But yeah, there's going to be a showing of Ninja Turtles 2 here next week or so, and my understanding is that you're going to be there and get to meet up with us fans. So I'm going to clear my schedule and make sure that I get down there to view the movie again and hopefully have a chance to see in the flesh, see in the show,
Cool.
and yeah, I'm
Well,
looking
I
forward to it.
guarantee you, I will show up at that event. I'll be there, Reggie. So Wednesday, March 18th at 6 p.m. The show's at 6:30, but at 6 p.m. I'm going to be talking to all the friends and fans and everybody that comes out. Then we're going to watch the movie, and then there's going to be a Q&A after the movie. Now, that being said, it's not a very big theater. The last I saw, I think there were only 6 seats available in the front row, and whether those are still available, I don't know. So, but anyway, if you don't
Um,
have your seats yet, you're gonna be late again to Teenage
we'll
Mutant
just
Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the
well,
Ooze.
I'll just hang from the ceiling like a ninja, like one of the Foot Clan. I'll just hang on the wall or something like that.
Well, to answer your original question, when I was 12 years old, I was a soccer player, and I used to go by the recreation center where I played soccer, and I saw these people jumping and kicking in pajamas, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. I was fascinated by it. I mean, I kind of knew it was karate, but I didn't know anything about karate, nothing. And then and just like any other little kid in school, I was, pushed around and all this kind of stuff. And I saw this one kid I know lean back in the school hallway and kick this guy that was pushing him around right in the head. And I thought, man, that was the coolest thing. So I went to my dad and I said, hey, I want to take karate. It was only $15 a month at the recreation center. This is in Greensboro, North Carolina in 1979. And my dad said, no, it's going to be just like some other hobby you take, like model trains and model rockets. You're just going to do it for a little while and quit. So I went to the library and I got a book on karate. I don't know if it was a Bruce Tegner book or it's one of the old available books on karate. Brought it home, went out in my backyard, took my shirt off, took my shoes off, put the book on a trash can, and just like in Karate Kid, I was sitting there trying to teach myself karate from a book. And my dad kind of saw that I was really sticking to it and going after it. And he came out to me and he said, "Hey, look, I will pay for you to go take karate. But if you, I'll pay for every month. But if you quit, you have to pay me back for every month I've paid for." And I was 12 years old, and he was making some kind of deal with me. But I didn't care. I didn't know what the value of the money was. I was just like, yeah, okay, I'll take karate. Didn't worry about any consequences. And ultimately, I got enrolled in a Goju-Ryu karate class taught by Lawrence McSwain in Greensboro, North Carolina. So for the next 5, 6 years, I studied this. It was based in Goju-Ryu, but it also had a lot of Shotokan kind of mixed into it as well. And studied that, got a black belt in that. Ultimately went off to college and competed and trained with a bunch of people and here and there doing all kinds of different stuff. Eventually moved out to Los Angeles, and that's where I studied Shaolin and Taoist Kung Fu. Got into American Kempo like you do, which I loved. I had such a good time training in American Kempo. I still work with a lot of the concepts, but I don't remember the particulars of all the actual techniques. I don't remember Dance of Death and Eagle, rips your heart out, and all the particulars of things. But I loved American Kempo, still love it. And then some Muay Thai, just a lot of different stuff. A little bit of Lima Lama, and
Oh, nice.
then just over the years have just trained in a blending of all those things. I would call it a mixed martial arts practice, but it's not like a UFC mixed martial. I don't practice wrestling or jujitsu or anything like that. It's all kind of traditional striking arts and things like that. And now currently, just a few years ago, I got the bug to get back into some traditional stuff and do some katas and things. So I started studying Ishinryu karate with a first generation black belt from the founder, Tatsuo Shimabuku. My instructor was a guy named Ed Johnson. And unfortunately, he passed away about a year ago. But he studied with Shimabuku from 58 to 60 or 59 to 61 in Okinawa. And so I got to study with him and practice with him and did that for the last few years. And then currently work out with other Ishinryu guys right now.
Oh, very nice, very nice. I like it. I like the mix. I feel like I feel as if I don't train enough martial arts. I feel like there's a calling to Ishinryu. There's kind of a long story with me training in these different arts and stuff like that. But I feel like I've been hearing about Ishinryu coming up a lot lately, and just some of the various people I've talking to and things I've watched and stuff like that. And there was an Ishinryu school that I was thinking about getting involved with, and I feel like with this coming up more and more, maybe that's another sign for for me to add a sixth art to my already full plate. I'm sure my wife's gonna love that, but yeah, that's very good stuff. So so I know the listeners are jumping up and down. It's like, all right, let's talk turtles, but we're actually going to talk Showdown first, because since that's fresher in my mind, I have some thoughts. So Showdown, for those that don't know, is, I mean, hopefully this isn't hopefully this doesn't sound too bad, but it's sort of a Karate Kid knockoff, I guess, if you want to call it, which I didn't realize that they did actually make a reference to Karate Kid within the movie. So I guess the makers were aware of what it was they were making, but it stars yourself and Billy Blanks, and Billy Blanks plays a cop that accidentally got into a situation and decided to stop being a cop, and went into being a school janitor and
Maintenance engineer.
Maintenance engineer. Yes, you got it. And you played a senior in high school, transferring to the new school, the new kid in town, and he gets bullied by the evil karate, the Cobra Kai knockoff gang, and you end up going under Mr. Blanks' tutelage, and you become a martial arts superstar from there. So there's a lot of other elements to it, but I'll let the viewers go and watch it or rewatch it and see some things. But Rewatching it, there was a couple of things that there's a few things that came to mind uh, uh, that I remember from when I kind of originally saw it. Uh, one of the things is that when you showed up, I kind of had the immediate thought was, I mean, I know it's Hollywood and movies and things like that, but I immediately was like, this guy's not a teenager. You do not look at all like a teenager amongst the other under individuals in the movie. Where was your age range when you did that role?
What was my age range?
Yeah.
Well, obviously it wasn't high school. No,
um,
I saw a review of this movie once that said something to the effect of a passable film, but all the high schoolers are 30 years old.
yeah. Yeah, no, a few of the people look like teenagers, but yeah, I would say a majority of the cast did not look like teenagers. But I don't know. From you, kind of stood out a little bit more. I guess the chiseled jawline and such, kind of gave it away. But that was one thing that stood out to me. One of the other things was that you were kind of wearing a lot of like baggy clothes and stuff for most of it, and I was like, there's got to be something to that. And of course, we get to the training montage scene that's famous for these kind of movies. And yeah, you pull off your shirt and you're like totally ripped. And and I just remember thinking that okay, this is a high schooler. He's been training, I don't know, a couple of months or something like that, 3 months. And much like the Karate Kid, you train for a few months and then all of a sudden you're just this super awesome martial artist. You got the super high kicks and the jump spin kicks, and then you're freaking ripped. I just like kind of hard to suspend the disbelief there, but I'm with it. But I always thought that was fun. But so how did that role come about?
Well, interestingly enough, I'm writing a book about how that role came about right now. What happened was I had just finished filming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. I had moved from North Carolina to Los Angeles, and I was on a quest to try to get an agent. I was coming off one of the most successful independent film of all time, rolling into another one with the second movie. And I thought, hey, Los Angeles, here I am. What I didn't really account for was when you're behind a latex mask like a turtle, nobody gives a shit who you are. They don't care as an actor, although it takes artistic expression and talent and all these things and skills to work in suits and do puppeteering and things like that. It doesn't mean anything when you're going to a casting director's office and you're trying to audition for a soap opera or a movie or anything like that. So I found myself not really being able to advance my career with anybody's help. I couldn't get an agent that meant anything to me. I didn't have enough experience with my face on camera that it meant anything to other people. I didn't have tape, as they say. So I was like, well, how am I going to do this? So I got a friend of mine and we got a VHS camera and we went out in the park and I choreographed a fight scene between me and my friend who did martial arts. And I had my shirt off and we're fighting. I mean, we were in good shape. We were young and we were athletic. And so I'm fighting in the park and I choreographed a really good fight with some spin kicks and things and drops and all that stuff. I then went back and I was able to use some editing technology back then to edit that fight scene. I edited some news interview clips I had done when I was a Ninja Turtle, and I edited a couple of the Ninja Turtle scenes into this overall tape that I had made. Then I shot an intro, and the intro said it had me standing there trying to look all handsome and macho in a leather jacket. And I was like, hi, I'm Kenn Scott. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like it, watching it as much as I did putting it together, or something like that. And then the music started, and it was me kicking ass, and it would cut to me being on the news going, boy, it was great being up. Anyway, I created this thing. Then what I did, Reggie, is I went to what used to be called Kinko's in an office place, This was before the internet. There was no internet at this particular point that we had access to, the public. So I created my own fake management company. I I used my roommate's name. His name was Anthony Summers. So I created Summers Management Group, and I created fake letterhead, and I created a business card for Anthony Summers and in envelopes or something. And I put together the videotapes with this fake letter that I wrote from this management company, and I did my research. I went on, I got all the VHS tapes for Jean-Claude Van Damme movies and Don the Dragon Wilson movies. I got all these movies, and I watched the credits, and I saw who the producers were. And then I did my research, found where the producers had offices in Hollywood, and I basically put together like 12 or 15 packages of this videotape and a letter from my fake manager that said, Kenn Scott is the greatest thing since sliced bread. He's a talented martial artist. He was an actor, acting Best Actor Award in high school theater, college theater, blah, blah, blah. Went to all the different companies and then waited for the phone to ring. And wouldn't you know it, within like a week of dropping these things off, I dropped them off myself, disguised as a delivery guy. I had a hat down and a clipboard, and I made the receptionist sign for the tapes to make the packages seem really important. Um, and I got a call. I'm sitting on the couch and my phone rings. And my phone was a different phone line than my roommate's. So I just picked it up and I said, hello. And somebody goes, yes, may I speak with Anthony Summers, please? And as soon as they said that, because my buddy's name is Tony, not Anthony, I was like, oh my gosh, it's one of the film companies. Well, Tony was sitting right on the couch next to me. We're playing Super Nintendo. And I was like, Tony, it's one of the companies. Like, you got to talk to him. So I handed Tony the phone. Tony talks. He's like, yes, okay, I think we could do that. I think we could do that. Yes, yes. I'm sitting there like shake. I'm like, what's going on? He hangs up the phone and he's like, hey man, you have a meeting with Imperial Entertainment on Friday at 2:00 with the two producers and the names and all this kind of stuff. They want to meet you. They like your package, etc. And I was like, well, wouldn't you know? Ended up going to that meeting. That meeting happened to be all about the movie Double Dragon that eventually starred Scott Wolf and Mark Dacascos. But that was that was what they wanted to meet me about. And they gave me all these Double Dragon comics and everything. They're like, we want you to play one of the brothers, and that's it. And this, and I was like, wow, that sounds great. So I went home, told my agent about the great meeting, and then very soon they reached out and they said, hey, we're before Double Dragon, we have to make another movie to satisfy some contractual obligations with sales, buyers. We're going to make Showdown, and that became the Showdown thing. And that was my involvement with the whole deal.
Oh my goodness. This is one of the reasons why I love doing this show so much and getting to talk to folks like you. I've had a chance to speak with a few other actors and celebrities in the martial arts world, and I just love hearing these kind of stories about kind of that kind of how you got into the biz or roles that you were potentially up for that didn't come to fruition. I think pretty much, maybe with the exception of probably Jeff Speakman, I think all the other actors that I've had have brought up a fairly significant role that they were up for. In some cases, they even had, but just because of whatever other legal craziness came up, they didn't get to be on that role. But a lot of times, it was just roles I was like, oh, like I didn't know you were up for that, or I didn't know you were gonna be in that role. So yeah, this is definitely definitely a unexpected and very pleasant surprise. So yes, thank you for sharing that. I'm now, which is kind of funny because I recently rewatched Double Dragon the other day, so it's like the stars were aligning and for all this to to happen as it is.
If you watch Double Dragon, you can see brief appearances by two of the people in Showdown. Ken McLeod, who plays Tom, the evil Cobra Kai knockoff in Showdown, he plays a small part in Double Dragon, as does John Asher, the wonderful comedic actor who played my best friend in the movie Mike. in Showdown, he then went on to be in Double Dragon as well, because they were produced by the same company, Imperial Entertainment.
Gotcha. So, can you say what happened with the Double Dragon role?
Well, I can't say specifically, only because I'm not the one that made the final decision, but I think a couple of things happened. One is there was a paperwork error at the end of Showdown that caused a little bit of a rift between my agent and the producers of Showdown. Just some bookkeeping errors, like kind of like when people get a divorce. Once they start talking about money, things go bad. Once money became an issue of some contention, which was just a stupid thing, I think it upset some people at the company. And then on top of that, I also have to say that, whoever directed Double Dragon may not have seen in me the actor that he wanted to have in Double Dragon. So it could be any.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Very nice. I like it. Now I can watch both of those movies with a different perspective and much more stuff to look out for. So very nice. I like that. All right, so let's get into the Ninja Turtles. I know that you've wrote at least one book about it, which I just picked up, but I've only started reading, and of course the name escapes me, but I will make sure that the gets in the show notes and everything. So, well, I mean, anybody that knows me and knows the show knows that pre-show preparation is a bad word. So, yeah, we just jump right in and get into it. But yeah, let's just talk a little bit about the Ninja Turtles. So you were in the suit for Raphael, if I'm correct here, and then you also were a number of the foot soldiers. I understand.
Yes, that's correct.
So
I was originally hired by Pat Johnson, the stunt coordinator, who's also in the movie The Karate Kid. For those that don't know, at the final scene of the original Karate Kid, he's the referee. He was that because he was the stunt coordinator, fight choreographer on Karate Kid, and was responsible for teaching those guys karate and make them look like martial arts. So because he had such success on Karate Kid, Ninja Turtles was another natural fit to bring him in. So got hired by Pat Johnson based on him watching me do a martial arts demonstration, and he hired me to be one of the foot soldiers. Worked as a foot soldier at the beginning during all the rehearsals. And then at the very beginning of the movie, we shot one of the big in the beginning of the production, we shot one of the big fight scenes where all the foot soldiers invade April O'Neil's apartment. And I think that was like a 2 or 3 day shoot. And when they do action like that, they like to do it early on in case it goes overtime. They don't run out of time in their schedule. So in that scene, I was many of the foot soldiers that you see getting flipped, hit, punched, kicked, cut, swinging through windows, crashing through skylights, all that kind of stuff. Most notably, I was the foot soldier that is the fellow chucker when Michelangelo goes, "Oh, a fellow chucker, eh?" And they do the nunchucks back and forth. I'm the guy in black doing the nunchucks. So that's kind of how I started. And then soon after that, they were shooting the scene where Raphael meets Casey Jones in Central Park. And in the moment when Casey Jones pulls out the cricket bat, Raphael says, cricket, you got to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. When Casey hits him with the cricket bat, Raphael sails through the air and lands headfirst in a trash can. When he did that, the performer from Hong Kong, who was in the Raphael suit, broke his nose. And he could no longer wear the Raphael costume or do the Raphael action, anything. So they were desperate to find somebody to replace him very quickly. And that was a tall order. They needed a very competent martial artist who was the same height and size as that person. And it just so happened that based on all my foot stunt work that I had done and everything, and my height, Pat Johnson came to me and he said, "Ken, if you can fit in the Raphael costume, you're the new Raphael." And so I just squeezed myself into whatever I could get in the whole Raphael thing. And they kind of put together different parts. I think I had like Donatello's feet or Leonardo's legs or something like that. But I had different parts that I had to wear in order to finally make me into Raphael. And that's how I became Raphael. And then I did all the action stunts after that for Raph.
Very nice, very nice. So then when the sequel came out, they just I guess they went directly to you, or was it still another
When
you were
when
another
the
part or something?
when the sequel came out, Pat Johnson called me and said, "Hey Ken, we're doing a second movie," and it happened very quickly. I mean, the first movie was successful right away, and they started planning right away. The movie came out, I think it was March 30th. No, we're talking about the first one came out March 30th, 1990, and by uh, April or May, we were already getting into pre-production and doing all that stuff. So it was only within a couple of months things were happening. So Pat called me and said, "Hey, we're doing another movie, and I want you to do the stunts for Raphael." And I said, "Okay." I said, "But Pat, you know, I really want to be an actor." And I was looking at what Josh Pais, who was the animatronic suit actor for Raphael in the first movie, while I was the stunts, he was the animatronic suit actor. Then Dave Foreman for Leonardo, Michelin Sisti for Michelangelo. I was looking at those guys on the first movie thinking, man, I want to do that. I think I could do what those guys are doing. So I said that to Pat, and Pat goes, "Well, Ken, just be glad you have a job doing the stunts. Be happy with what you got." And he hung up the phone. But then, like just a short time later, I don't remember if it was a few days or a week or whatever, I got a call from Pat Johnson again, and he said, "Ken, my son, I want you to know that Josh Pais is not coming back for the second movie, but you didn't hear it from me." And he just hung up the phone. And I was like, huh. So once again, going back to my never say die spirit of martial arts and warriorship and all that stuff, I thought, how can I win this battle? So I found an old call sheet from the first movie, because on a call sheet, all the important people and their phone numbers are listed. And it had the producer's phone number on it. So I called one of the producers, a man named David Chan that worked for Golden Harvest. And I said, he answered his own phone. And I said, "David, this is Ken." At the time, I went by Ken Traum when we were making the Ninja Turtle movies. I eventually became Kenn Scott because nobody can say or spell Traum. And Scott's just so it was a lot easier. So I said, "Hey, this is Ken Traum. And, my understanding is that you might be looking for an animatronic suit performer for Raphael, blah, blah, blah. I would love to be considered. I would love to do that." He goes, "Well, Ken, we're very interested in you doing the stunts. We like what you're doing. Um, but why don't you make a videotape of yourself acting like Raphael, and we'll consider it." He goes, "Just do some of the scenes." I was like, "Okay." So again, my friend and I, we got a VHS video camera. I put on a green shirt so that I was most the turtle like. And then I stood out in my front yard and I did exactly those lines. I acted like Josh Pais doing Raphael. I was like, "Cricket, you got to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. A television news reporter." I mean, I was just doing all that stuff. And then I had to overnight that video to David Chan, the producer. But what I realized was that it was Memorial Day and all the overnight places were closed. And so, not knowing that I could probably just send it the next day, I thought, no, he said overnight it. So I drove to the airport and I paid. It was at the time, again in 1990. This was a lot of money to a 21, 22-year old. It was $150 or something to ship it overnight on Delta Airlines, and they would deliver it directly to his office. So I paid the money. I was like, "Well, I got the job doing stunts, so that'll pay for this." So I sent it off. And then I got a call from David Chan like 3 days later. He's like, "Ken, we got your tape, but we're going to audition like 50 or 60 guys out here in Los Angeles first." I was like, "Okay, whatever. I guess I got the stunt job. That's fine." Within a few days, I got a call from David Chan that said, "Ken, congratulations. You are the new Raphael. We thought that your experience doing the movement and the suits would be a great asset to you working with the Henson Group and doing all that." And so that's how I became the animatronic suit performer for the second movie, and that was a totally different experience than being a stunt turtle.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So that's the message out there, boys and girls. That you can't just sit on the couch and wait for things to happen to you. You got to go out there and make them happen. And you have definitely proven that. Yeah, if you want something, you gotta work for it. You gotta make it happen. So I love that, and it's definitely inspiring. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put that in more into my life and make more great things happen. So since you have a heart out, I want to make sure to get you out of here on time. So we're gonna move to what I call our lightning round here. So I got a few little wrap up questions here, and then we will close out, and hopefully I can get you back for more chatting at another time. But let's go ahead and go into our lightning round here. So first question: do you have a favorite technique?
Yes, being calm.
I like it. I like it. I like it. That is huge. As someone with I would say a legendary calmness, especially in a lot of trying times. I can totally relate to that. So very nice. Very nice. All right. Next question. Do you have a favorite form and or set?
Favorite form or
Or
set?
kata or
Yeah,
punse or whatever you want to.
a favorite. Well, unfortunately, my memory has slipped on some of my Shaolin Kung Fu forms. And I love doing those. I love, especially the small crane. I love doing that. However, currently, I'm doing a lot of Goju, Shotokan, and Ishinryu katas. And so, yeah, I'm going to say that there's one in Ishinryu. There's two actually in Ishinryu that I really like doing. One is called Wansu, which is very much like Impi in Goju-Ryu. And then the other one is a Suansu, which was created by the founder of Ishinryu, Tatsuo Shimabuku. And the name Suansu means living rock. And it was because that's what they called him when they were watching him do his kata.
Very nice. Very nice. I like it. All right. Next question. Do you have a favorite weapon?
Well, it'd be obvious to say the size, but the truth be told, when I was a kid, when I was a teenager and a young adult, I used to compete with the commas, with the loops around the bottom. I was really inspired by Stuart Kwan, the
Oh,
amazing,
yeah.
and I watched him on TV, and then I watched him live, and ultimately got to know him and met him in Los Angeles, and anyway, and just ran into him at parties later on. It was crazy, but I love doing the commas. I always thought those were exciting to do, really neat looking, and I'm currently doing them now. A friend of mine actually sent me a pair of commas from Okinawa, and so I'm working with commas again, which I love.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, man, I haven't heard that name in a while, so that I really like that. Very nice. All right. If there was anyone that you could train with, living or dead, fictional or non-fictional, who would that be?
Bruce Lee.
Very nice. Yeah, he is one of the greats. I would argue no one or very few individuals in history have had the kind of effect on martial arts that Bruce Lee has had. So I like that. I
Oh
like that.
yeah, really, he's the sage of martial arts in the modern times. Um, he's not the only one that thought the things he thought, but he is the only one that had this all-encompassing, amazing human package of being a legit, seriously trained martial artist, being a student of the arts and philosophy, being a creative martial artist, and encompassing the term artist in that in all senses of the words, and being the charismatic performer and individual that he was, and the teacher that he was. All these things in one package, able to grasp and gather the knowledge of centuries and funnel it into sort of just this one spouting fountain is just amazing. So there's nobody, I can't imagine it. Again, a lot of people have a lot of other great things to say, but he just had the total package of it all. So just, yeah, let's go have some dim sum with Bruce Lee.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. All right, so we're going to go to our final piece of business for our time today here, and that is the shameless self-promotion. So you can plug anything that you want, or if there's anything that we hadn't talked about that you wanted to mention, you now have the floor, and then we'll close out our time for today with that.
If there's anybody out there who is a true Ninja Turtle fan and loves the first, especially the first two movies, live action movies made in came out in 90 and 91, I would highly encourage you to go to Amazon or go to turtleconfessions.com and find your way to buying my book, Teenage Ninja to Mutant Turtle, Becoming the Real Raphael. I'm not trying to sell anybody a book. I don't care. I didn't write a book to make money. It's priced at only $10 online. And it's because it's all these stories that I know that Ninja Turtle and movie making fans and even martial arts fans love to hear about making these movies. It's the story of how I disguised myself as a pizza delivery guy and snuck into a movie studio in order to meet people that got me the first job on a Ninja Turtle movie, all the way till it's three-quarters of the book is just behind the scenes stories of making the movies. What went right, what went wrong, how hot it was in the suits, what it was like working with Vanilla Ice. So I would just say, go to Amazon, just type in Kenn Scott book, or go to turtleconfessions.com. And from there, you can find your way to Amazon and links to buy the book and all that stuff. Plus, you see a lot of cool shit at turtleconfessions.com that I've put up there. So I would say do that. Outside of that, I travel all the time with a group called Turtle Celebration, and we go to Comic Cons around all of North America and the world. This weekend I'll be in Cleveland, then next week in Toronto, then I'm in Chicago and Philadelphia and Edmonton and on and on and on. Go to Instagram. If you're on Instagram, go to Kenn Scott Official, and Ken is spelled with two N's. It's Kenn Scott Official. Find that on Instagram, or you can go to Facebook if you're an old timer like me and you're on Facebook. Kenn Scott Raphael. Again, don't forget Ken with two N's. But find your way to me somehow on Instagram, because I share a really fun content and behind the scenes clips from movies, and I tell behind the scenes stories, and I'm constantly traveling with other people from the movies, and it's just a whole, I think my feed is a shitload of fun because I don't really care about followers. I'm just trying to share super cool, super fun content for Ninja Turtle fans, Showdown, martial arts, stuff like that. And pizza. I love freaking pizza. So,
We are
yeah,
kindred
that's it.
spirits. Martial arts and pizza. We are kindred spirits, and you were definitely born to be a Ninja Turtle. So I love
Yeah, I
it.
got
I
a
love it.
pizza tattoo.
Oh, nice, nice. I love it. Well, yes, no, I thank you so much for being on and sharing your stories. Like I said, hopefully we can get you back on at another time. Find a niche in your in your extremely busy schedule to come back on, and we can talk some more martial arts, some more pizza stuff, all kinds of good things. Like I mentioned, I did pick up your book. I just started it, so looking forward to getting down and into that. I will make sure to get links to all the stuff that you're doing in the show notes. And yeah, once again, I can't thank you enough for being on. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and hopefully we can chat some more real soon. Actually, the 18th, come in. I'll find a spot in the in the theater to try and hunker down and watch the movie, and yeah, I'm excited for that. So thank you.
Right on. Thank you, Reggie. And as my old karate instructor used to say, namaste.
Namaste.